Jude Kirton-Darling, Labour MEP for the North East. How big a problem are legal highs in your region?
Legal highs are becoming a really big problem. I went and visited Changing Lives, who are based in Gateshead, to talk about the situation across the region in terms of people who are excluded on the edges of society. And it was the number one issue that they raised. They said that really what's happening is that legal highs are replacing illegal street drugs in many parts of the North East. At the moment, very much focused around the big conurbations, Tyneside and Teesside, but increasingly spreading out into the more rural areas. And really the problem is that we don't know what is included in these substances. They're sold in along the high street, in off licenses, in chip shops, in pizza shops, if you can believe it. They're on the counter as air freshener alongside ketchup, salt and pepper, and yet we don't know what's inside the packets. We don't know if it's a hallucinogenic, if it's a depressive, or if it's a stimulant inside, and the result is that we're having increasing numbers of people who are extremely sick as a result, addicted, and in the worst cases dying because of the mixture of the different drugs inside.
I mean, if you look at past statistics, the North East has had the highest drug-related deaths in the UK. Are you worried that legal highs could be exacerbating or even take over as the new dangerous trend for the region?
Oh, I'm not worried about that. That's what we're being told by practitioners in the field, people who are working on addiction and drug and alcohol problems. What they're saying to us is that actually legal highs are a particular problem, not just for the young who are testing them and trying them out, but they're also a problem in combination with existing addictions and people who are in rehab or recovering from addiction. It's a really big problem. We need urgent action, and we need a coordinated approach between policymakers and practitioners in the field to ensure that we have a policy which works on the ground. Part of that has to be putting responsibility on the shop owners' shoulders to say, if you sell something that says it's not for human consumption, it should not be sold in a way which will be promoting its consumption.
When it comes to those in power, at what level would you like to see action taken? Local councils, the UK government, or here at a European level? Or is it perhaps a bit of both?
I think it's got to be a combination of all of them. We have some local authorities in the UK who've decided that their local authority area is legal high free. That's a great thing to do as a local initiative. We need to see national action from the government, and the government have indicated that they want to take national action. That's absolutely fine. But we're in an internal market, and in an internal market you have different substances travelling around, all kinds of ways that things can get into the marketplace. So we need EU action alongside as well, and to choose one over the other is really to underestimate the potential scale of damage as a result of these substances.
Now, you've raised this with the European Commission, you wrote to them. What kind of response did you get, and where do you want to go from here? You've just raised this as well in the European Parliament just this week.
Yeah, I raised it through a written question to the Commission. I asked the Commission whether it was a problem across the whole of Europe, what they were intending to do. They came back and said actually they've put legislation on the table. There are two pieces of legislation which were published in 2013. That legislation is stalled in the Council of Ministers. The Member States can't agree on it. And what I was saying in the European Parliament last night when I spoke about the issue was we need to get people acting. There is a really urgent need to take legislative action to deal with the increasing numbers of legal highs on our high street. And in order to do that, we need the institutions to work together. You can't have a standoff between the Commission and the Council, between national governments and the Commission, refusing to cooperate to get things pushed forward.
And just a quick final question, the problem of the internet, because I understand that a lot of legal highs are bought and sold via the internet. Could European law in any way find a way of blocking that route? It sounds like you want to see a ban ultimately on these substances?
Well, a ban is what the practitioners are asking for. There are different models of how you implement that. There's a different model in Ireland from New Zealand. We can learn from best practice around the world. Clearly, the problem is that people are selling them, these substances, and they're selling them, although they're labelled not for human consumption, they're being sold very clearly as legal highs, things that you will be consuming to get a physical effect from. So we need to tackle vendors, whether that's a chip shop on the West Road in Newcastle, or whether that's a website that's selling a substance from another country. We need to deal with that. At European level, we have e-commerce legislation. There should be a way of tying up action around substances, around medicines and the labelling of these substances, along with the rules about how they're sold, what can be sold and under what conditions.